So we're going to talk about movements that you're probably all familiar with, such as the drop and the lift and the in and out and rotation and swivels and things like that. But if we're going to be moving, we need to remove the obstacles. And once we do that, then we can get to a place of neutrality. And then finally, we can talk about how to incorporate new habits and new movements into our playing. So this is a lecture about how to reset your body, your mind, and reboot your relationship with the piano. And it's going to be some basics, believe it or not. The fundamentals. Fundamentals are so important. So let's talk about some fundamentals for a moment. Kobe Bryant, never get bored with the basics. Michael Jordan, the minute you get away from fundamentals, whether it's proper technique, work ethic, or mental preparation, the bottom can fall out of your game, your schoolwork, your job, whatever you're doing. Winners don't just learn the fundamentals, they master them. And the third example is Vince Lombardi. He took over the Green Bay Packers in the 60s, and they were the losingest team in the NFL. And he, at the very first practice, he took over and he said, "Gentlemen, this is a football." And they started completely over, did the fundamentals, did basics, passing and running and things like that. And he took them to many victories, NFL championships and Super Bowl victories. So bear with me as we go through some of these basics. So the obstacles. What are some obstacles in our way? First of all, Marcus Aurelius, the obstacle is the way. Underneath all the pain, there's a lot of goodness there. That's where all the growth is. It's through the pain. So we have to address that. What is movement? According to the Webster's Dictionary, the act or process of moving, and especially changing place or position. So by definition, that means we're moving from point A to point B. So something begins here and then moves over there. So my question is, what is our point A? What is our starting point? What is our general state of being? And that brings us to emotional baggage. And I know many of you probably more than I have too, many decades of experience in teaching. And we have all had students walk through the door with all kinds of baggage. And sometimes it's small, sometimes it's great, sometimes it makes them want to quit and so forth. But either way, their point A is damaged. And I would ask us to examine ourselves as well. What kind of baggage are we bringing to the instrument? What is our relationship with the instrument? So let's think about some baggage that we bring to the instrument, or that our students might bring. Symptoms of emotional baggage. Negative self-talk. In my experience, that's probably the number one thing that I find in students if they have emotional baggage. They're constantly apologizing for their playing. They're insulting themselves. They'll apologize before they play. Then all during their playing, they'll be giving themselves a running play-by-play commentary of insults. And then they'll finish. And before I can even say something, they've already insulted themselves. "Oh man, that was so awful. I can't believe I did that, blah, blah, blah." And those sorts of cycles, they're really, really damaging. So we just have to really encourage our students to have a zero tolerance for that kind of negative self-talk in the lessons and also in their practicing. But fear, you find students get angry. You find students make excuses for various things. Avoidance of practicing or performing altogether, and they have a lack of confidence. The origins of the emotional baggage. Negative experiences in performance probably is the number one. They're rocking and rolling, they're practicing, they're performing, they go out and they have one bomb and it shatters their confidence, and it takes them years sometimes to build that back up. Sometimes it can come from overbearing parents or an overbearing teacher. Problems with certain pianos. I'm sure we've all had a nemesis piano before in our lives that haunts us. Problems with certain spaces, certain halls, certain situations, or even problems with certain pieces. And the long-term effects of the emotional baggage. Tension in the playing, limited mobility, musical problems too, not just physical, but rushing, timid, inexpressive playing, noisy playing, memory slips. And these are things that just get cycled through the brain all the time, and that just, it's like daggers into oneself. The Eagles, don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy.